Welcome to the very first episode of Safer Together, the official podcast of the Indiana Borough Police Department. I'm Mark Bertig from Renda Media, and I'll be stepping in today as kind of a guest host because moving forward, this guy, Chief Justin Schawl from the Indiana Borough Police Department, is going to carry this podcast every so often. And Chief, this was all your idea, so maybe tell everybody how it all came about and what we can expect moving forward.
Well, I appreciate that. I wanted to find a way where we could reach the community on a level that we haven't done already. And there's so many things going on, not only in our community, but nationally and within our police department and law enforcement everywhere, that it becomes very difficult to have meaningful conversations in a 1 to 2 minute or perhaps a 3-minute public comment section at a borough council meeting or during a more scripted interview segment. And so I thought, and I'll be very excited to talk about how this opportunity came about, but I thought that a podcast may be able to give us an opportunity to address the public from a proactive angle to share information. And I think that that'll lend itself to success.
All right. Well, as I said, unless you have me back down the road, you'll be the host moving forward. But for today, I thought maybe if you're willing, we'll ask you some questions and get going if you're ready to go.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks.
Maybe share a little bit of background, about yourself and, as chief of police.
So my journey to chief of police started, I'm the son of a former police officer. So that really, growing up, formed my impression of what police service was. My father's a great man. I respect him. Coming up in my family, it was really important to my dad to have a community connection. And it was also very important to him that he treated everyone fairly, and he built a ton of relationships. And so I never wanted to be anything else but a police officer, and more specifically, I always wanted to be a police officer here in Indiana, following in my dad's footsteps. So in 2001, I was blessed with the opportunity to be hired by the Indiana Police Department, and I actually for a couple of years got to work with my father, not necessarily on the same shift as him for obvious reasons, but in the same department. And so we got to share that journey together, which was really, really positive and impactful. But everyone that I met on the street who knew me vicariously through my family, I realized very quickly that I had big shoes to fill in my dad's footsteps, and that was really exciting. So through the police department, I've had the opportunity to have leadership positions as corporal, as sergeant, as lieutenant. And then in 2019, I was appointed chief of police. So for the past 6+ years, I've been serving as the lead for the police department's effort, and it's just been a distinct honor and humbling all the time, I will tell you. Certainly the most difficult job I've ever had, but also one of the most rewarding things that I can do.
Cool. I've known you for a number of years now. I think I know you well enough to know that you have a lot of pride in this Indiana community, and I think everything you just mentioned about your dad and everything, but serving Indiana Borough, what does that mean to you personally? Yeah,
it's an honor. It's a great responsibility, and by great I mean sometimes it's good and sometimes it's terrible. But great is it's a monumental task, but one that again I don't take lightly. I care about this community so much. I enjoy being from Indiana. I enjoy the atmosphere here. We have a great community, and I'm just trying to do everything in my power and within my capability to move the ball forward for everyone in Indiana and to keep everyone safe and to continue to be an ambassador for Indiana. And I don't just mean Indiana Borough. I mean Indiana as the county seat, as a representative of everything that Indiana County residents, appreciate, stand for, and with our downtown businesses and everything, we have a thriving community. And I want to be part of that in every possible positive way.
I was thinking of my late uncle, Tom Carroll, who was a chief investigator for Indiana Borough Police Department, and my late father. They might be saying, what is a podcast? So would your father be saying, what's a podcast? But what inspired you to take this route to communicate with the public?
Well, listen, but prior to this year, I probably would have said, what is a podcast? So I want everyone to understand that my level of technical acumen or cutting edge technology is very slight. But here's the path, and this is why I think it's exciting. I had an opportunity in January of this year to attend the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. And, I was surrounded with 246 other thought leaders in the profession of police service. And it wasn't just from the United States, it was from all over the world. And so we were benefited, we were blessed by having some of the best instruction on leadership, on community engagement, on relationships, on wellness. And one of the classes that I took, one of the instructors I had, Dr. Cynthia Lewis, was an advanced presentation and public speaking class. And I was well practiced in public speaking from my role as chief, and I appreciated that. But having the opportunity to be with the best of the best, and in that moment, I didn't want to pass on an opportunity to take that course, because one of the most important things I realized as chief is that communication is really important. How I communicate with the police department, how I communicate with the community, how I communicate with our partners in the press, how I communicate with my family after a good day and after a bad day. Communicating, it became the cornerstone of what I thought I could deliver of value. And so fast forward to the FBI National Academy, Dr. Cynthia Lewis, as our final project, she challenged every class member to create a podcast. And it was a completely foreign idea. I'm not going to say that I was smooth sailing. I really had to learn what a podcast was, but she was so encouraging in that, as police leaders, we have to be seeking to keep moving forward. And so as technology changes and becomes more available, we have to be harnessing that for the betterment of ourselves, for the betterment of our community, for the betterment of what we're trying to do. And so here's how this happened. I was assigned to do a podcast with Herman Chavez, a captain of the aviation unit of the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Wow.
And
pressure.
Yeah, and also the second member of that podcast team was Mohammed Salih of the Kurdish region of Iraq. So the three of us were together for an assignment on creating a podcast, and everyone in the class was broken up into three, and so we created a podcast. And then as a final class project, we sat and we listened to everyone else's podcast. And what I realized was that, and what we were encouraged was that, this just takes a willingness to be vulnerable. It doesn't necessarily take a high skill set.
So you didn't realize that I'm really good at podcasts.
Well, I hope to find that I can be engaging in a way that brings public safety to the forefront and advances it. And that's my hope. But in listening not only to our podcast, but even in creating our podcast, here are three police officers who have very little experience in the podcast world, and we just went for it. And you know what? We accomplished it. And we listened to that podcast, and we listened to other podcasts, and we enjoyed them all. And everyone in class sat and laughed at the moments of maybe levity, and all of us appreciated the moments of sincerity. And 5 to 7 minutes, that assignment was done, and I walked away with a new skill set. And so that's really what prompted this idea.
No, wait a minute. You cheated. You've been on Todd Marino's show time and time again. No, I'm just kidding.
That made me a professional.
Yeah,
so this is going to be something totally different, I think.
What do you hope that viewers take away?
Well, I want them to, first of all, foremost, just to know us at the police department better, to understand, that through any moment in time, the ones that are the most serious or the ones that are lighthearted, that you have dedicated men and women who are caring for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I also want to bring to the forefront issues that I think are important, that our community needs to know, that we need to talk about, that we can't unpack in a 3-minute open-ended public session of a council meeting, or that it's difficult to unpack after something's happened. It's going to be difficult for us to speak with it with to the extent that we can if we're going to do it in advance. So just want to be out in front.
What are some topics as you host this show, as we flip roles after this episode? What are some of the topics you'd like to attack? Have you thought about that a little bit?
So I have thought about it, and in my mind, some of the topics I'd like to talk about. Our K-9 program, I think that's very important. It's been a great success. So our K-9 program, school safety. Mm-hmm. School safety is an important topic for our community. I'd like to talk about officer wellness and recruitment. I want people to know what the mission of the police department is and how our mission is going to plug into everything else that we do. I want to, I even think talking about maybe bring some police families in so that, it's not just a police officer that you're hearing from, but maybe the family of a police officer. And so all those things, I think, give us a chance to really unpack the profession of police service and to talk about why we do what we do, how we do what we do. Is every police department the same? Should it be the same? Should every police effort look and feel the same? Is there room to be different? And if there is room to be different, why? How can we succeed? And I will say this, and I'm going to say this many times, but I do believe that we're safer when we work together. And so this podcast is an opportunity for us to unpack that, what it looks like to be a partner to the police department, what the police department is going to look like as a partner to the community, and what it means truly to be safer together.
Hence the name of the podcast, Safer Together. And it sounds like just being as transparent and open as you can be is one of the goals.
Well, that is one of the goals. I mean, I want to talk about it because, not everything might make sense in the second that you're observing it, or we all may be observing it from a different angle. So I don't have a specific topic in mind when I say that, but I want the community to understand how much we at the Indiana Borough Police Department care about everything that happens here and how we're trying to plug in to prevent the negative from happening. We can investigate everything well. I have full confidence in every person in the police department. We will investigate criminal activity. We will do it professionally. We will bring resolve to it. But once that activity has happened, once we have a victim, someone's life's been impacted negatively. And so when I put my head on my pillow at night, I want to be certain that I am doing as much as possible to prevent everything negative that we can prevent. And again, that means working together because we're all safer together.
Hey, as I said, after today, it's your show. But have you thought about maybe ways that you could involve the community in this podcast, Safer Together?
Well, I think that the community will enjoy the guests that I'm going to ask to
thought about it.
I have thought about it. I'd be lying. I wouldn't even consider sitting with a professional like you before I had this a little bit thought out in my head because I don't want to embarrass you and I don't want to embarrass me. But we're going to bring in community guests. I might bring in colleagues. We're going to start our podcast endeavor with a conversation with Eric Slavinsky, Lieutenant and Second in Command of the Police Department, and he and I are going to unpack the mission.
So that's the next episode.
That's going to be the next episode.
Okay.
So I think it's an appropriate place to start. The mission that should give everyone a firm understanding, or at least our understanding, if we can pull it off, as to what our focus is every day.
Is there, if you were to drill down, one thing that you'd like people to learn about the Indiana Borough Police Department that maybe they don't know now?
Well, I'll tell you, I think what I don't want to get lost in anything that we do is that every member of the Indiana Police Department is a friend, a neighbor, a family member, is highly skilled, is compassionate, and is there for our community 24/7. And sometimes, as these topics fly around in the police world, and depending on, what our mindsets are on a variety of topics, we're focused on the topic and we forget about the human aspect and the human impact. And even us as police officers sometimes forget about the human aspect of what we do. And I know that's strange to say, but I just want to make sure that our conversations are real, that they're genuine, that they express the fact that we are your friends and neighbors and that we're here for everybody.
Excellent. That's going to wrap it up for today. I mean, it's been a pleasure being the guest host of the first ever Safer Together podcast that you will be hosting starting with the next episode. I guess we'll put you in this chair and your guest.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be a lot of fun.
To be determined.
I'll look forward to watching. I hope everybody that sees this episode will spread the word. We're going to pump it out there and as much as we can and get you as much exposure as we can. This should be a lot of fun, Chief. I think it's a great idea on your part.
Well, I thank you. And, this is a moment in time that I hope to be very positive for everybody. So again, I want to thank Mark Bertig and everyone at Renda Broadcasting for helping launch this podcast and the great conversation that we're going to have. And from here on out, I'm going to be your host. So hold on tight as we bring you conversations about public safety and about everything that's a concern to the community and also the great people who are working to make everyone sincerely safer together. So please be sure to subscribe, be sure to like our upcoming topics and podcast. And if you have a topic that's important to you and you want to hear the police department talk about it, we have a long list of things we're going to talk about, but you're the driving force in everything that we do. So until next time, stay safe. And remember, we're always safer together.